Today I'm pleased to be sharing with you best practices around school trip preparedness. This is brought to you by the Near North District School Board and the Canadian Ecology Centre. My name is Emily Samuel and I'm a principal with the Near North District School Board. Over the past few months, I've worked closely with Bill Steer, the CEO of the Canadian Ecology Centre. He has created STPs, known as School Trip Preparedness Plans, that our school board has implemented to ensure that students leaving property to engage in fun, experiential learning opportunities are doing so in a safe way. Like any good initiative, the School Trip Preparedness Plan is grounded in why. The rationale for why we want our educators to create these plans prior to leaving school property really lies with parent consent. But it's actually a lot more than that. It's not just parent consent, but it's informed parent consent. What we mean by that is we not only want to identify the inherent and real risks of a school trip and how we'll mitigate them, but we want to do that in a way that's easy to understand and accessible for parents. In this way, parents can be sure that they understand what the risks are before agreeing to allow their child to participate. I'm sure you can all think of a time that you as a parent received a form. Maybe it was a couple of pages long with very small printing, double-sided, brought home in a student's backpack. Maybe it was crumpled or stained. It was probably hard to understand the real or inherent risks that were associated with that activity. Most parents sign these forms anyway, without really understanding the risks of the trip. Using the School Trip Preparedness Plan, parents are provided with a very easy to understand, accessible, and highly visual plan that demonstrates all the ways that those risks will be mitigated, as well as provides additional information that's really important, like transportation pickup and drop-off locations, mustering areas in case of emergencies, and contact information for school trip leaders. The Near North District School Board decided to put STPs directly into our school trips administrative guideline. We did this so that we would set the expectation that these are the documents and the information required in order to obtain informed parental consent. We broke down the requirements of the STP based on the type of trip. This also helped inform who needed to provide the final approval. With the information clearly laid out in the STP, principals have confidence signing off on Level 1 trips. When creating an STP, teachers have a minimum requirement of information that must be provided before it can be approved. This is true of STP Level 1 trips all the way through to international Level 4 trips. Of course, the information required for a Level 4 trip is much more extensive and complex. However, the minimums are included here in this slide. A couple of things to draw your attention to is the Google Map link for emergency services. It's really important that emergency services local to the area know where students will be and when they'll be there, especially if you're thinking about backcountry camping trips or paddling trips. It's also important, as I already mentioned, to identify the inherent and real risks and how they'll be mitigated. Transportation details are marked in an easy to understand and see way by highlighting it on a map or a satellite image. It also includes a mustering area so that parents know where to go in the case of an emergency to find their child. Through the use of STPs, we're able to ensure that our students have access to the wonderful world of learning that exists outside of their classroom door. As previously mentioned, the STPs are highly visual and easy to access. Think about the forms that you've received before as a parent. And now look at this one. You can clearly see where the designated pickup and drop-off points are on a large secondary school campus. Instead of simply having the address listed, it provides parents with the exact spot where they're able to meet their child and the teacher leader. This is a screenshot from an STP that was created for a NASA track meet. You can see that the athletes as well as the coaches have responsibilities for what items they'll bring. In this way, we're able to share the responsibilities and be transparent with parents about what it is that students need to bring and what the adults will bring. STPs can be shared through electronic formats such as PowerPoint or PDF, or they can be printed and provided that way. Providing information for parents electronically is especially convenient as it allows them to quickly reference schedules, such as the example here of a track event, or to access the links provided in the document to explore the trip provider or the location. By making STPs highly visual, it's easy to see what is allowed and what is not allowed. In this example, it's easy to see what type of trail students will be permitted to ride on, and what type of trail they will not be permitted to ride on. There are multiple ways to bring school trip preparedness to your board or organization. Like us, you might choose to embed school trip preparedness plans right into your policies or procedures. In this way, the expectation is given, along with the type of information that's required for different levels of trips. You might also choose to work with the Canadian Ecology Centre to plan small workshops or group training. An ideal group of candidates would be your outdoor education teachers, as they are likely planning Level 2 and Level 3 trips. You might consider enrolling in the micro-credential course for STP planning. This is offered through Nipissing University and can be found under the extended learning portion of their website. Thank you for joining me as I explained a little bit about why we believe STPs are so important and how you might begin the journey of bringing them to your school board or organization.